Hello, everybody. Good Lord, it's a full house tonight, and I appear to be on a bit of a lag here at the moment. But anyway, welcome to the Sunday service. We have a full house tonight. Look at this. It's like Celebrity Square's gone mad, or Celebrity Square's gone bad. Anyway,
or it could be University Challenge.
University
version,
or like it.
As opposed to universally challenged.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, gentlemen, if I may be so liberal with the English language. How are we?
Very well, thanks.
Last week.
Good.
Doing great.
Still setting up. Sorry.
We finally got a whole lot of rain here in Arizona over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully that means our drought is coming to a slow end.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a red face there, Mike. You caught the sun.
Well, I was at Miramar last weekend.
That'll be it.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
And it's probably my camera not helping.
Tell everybody what happened to you last week.
Who?
You, Drew, the one called Drew. Tell everybody what happened to you last week.
Well, nothing. That's just the point. I was supposed to be in Ireland at the IGMS Nationals, at the IGMS Island Nationals, and the flight got cancelled. Moving on. Anyway, carry on. That's it.
We were all fantastically sympathetic about it.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
Well,
Are we?
eh,
Because there's just nothing you can do about it. When that storm rolled in, it was just like...
there's nothing you can do about it, and I was okay with that. It's just that Aer Lingus's treatment of me since has kind of left a bitter and sour taste in the mouth. You know, like I say, you expect to get your knees done by the low cost carriers, but you expect a national carrier to look after you, don't you? And apparently they don't care. So hey ho. Moving on. Come on, let's talk about some models instead, because
I'm gonna have to nip out the studio for a second because my connection here is absolutely shocking. So talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be back in a couple of seconds. So I'll see you all shortly.
So Chris,
Oh, thank goodness he's gone.
thank God.
I was going to say, Drew's,
Never leave.
Drew's airport misadventures or airline misadventures reminds me of whenever I travel to the U.S. Nationals, I have to fly because it's never located anywhere near within driving distance. I've driven to 2 in like 30 years. And I remember flying into Chicago to catch a connecting flight and getting there very late and running across O'Hare, which is a gigantic airport, and carefully carrying my models, running really fast, but carrying my models as gingerly as I possibly could, and getting the gate and arriving there and discovering that the airplane at the gate has had some kind of door seal problem and it is itself delayed. So the whole sprint across the airport was for nothing.
You got your steps in.
Yeah, well, if you fly to O'Hare, you automatically do.
Same with Atlanta.
Yeah, gigantic airports, bigger than a lot of the cities in England, I think.
So I flew out to Barcelona with work last December, and it was a chartered plane, so it was flown from one of the hangars of Stansted, that's sort of miles away from everything else. So we all get in and they get us all on the plane, and we sat there for 2 hours while they tried to get the emergency exit over the wing to close properly. That did not fill you with the best of confidence that you were going to make the end of that flight. Let me tell you.
Just be glad you didn't sit by the door.
But the guy, because they'd done to me, obviously 6'3", hefty fella. Do you want one of the extra legroom seats? I'm glad they said no, because they were right by that emergency door. I'll be all right with an aisle. It's fine.
I'm just going to do some comments here. John P. Huston says, I was lucky to fly to London City despite despite Amy.
Here's the irony. If I'd flown with, Ryanair, I would have probably got there fine because they're Boeing 737s and they're, they coped with the crosswinds. I don't think Ryanair had cancelled anything. I flew with Aer Lingus, which is a little Buddy Holly Airlines sort of puddle jumper, and it got cancelled because of the crosswinds. So
Jerry Doyle says, "I'll keep the Guinness warm for you."
And I think I owe Con some wings as well, don't I, Jerry? So we'll sort that.
So gents, shall we dive on in with everybody's projects tonight? Having said that, having had to reboot the studio, it's kicked me out of the everything that I've uploaded. Right, there we go. Chris, explain this chap to us, please.
So this last week, I finally decided my airbrush was not working for reasons that I could not control. So I decided for a few days, as I was remedying the problem, to work on some stuff that didn't require an airbrush. This guy's mostly painted, but I had a good time with him. The little 82nd Airborne logo on his shoulder is an Archer fine transfer my friend Randy Ray sourced for me. Those things are really the bomb, and the insignia, the corporal's insignia, is also Archer. Really neat little touches for the models. And there's also, you can see a U.S. stencil on his entrenching tool. They really add a lot to it. Anyway, like
what scale is that, Chris?
That's 135th.
That looks great.
I've joked around that now that I've got this guy mostly done, because he's going to end up with a hand grenade, I got to shoot some flat coat on him. Now all I've got to do is build like 8 other figures and a self-propelled gun and a base, and my diorama is finished. I'm virtually done.
Oh, just that. You've only got to build that then. That's fine. That's
only those things. Yeah, right. So I'm almost done. It's almost done.
Yep.
It's the easy part.
Optimist way of looking at it. I also didn't need to paint this. This was this week I put the tail and the fuselage and the wing on this Meng F-106 Delta Dart. It's a weird fiddly kit, and I've made the mistake of buying Meng's interior, which is nothing like the actual interior of an F-106. The resin parts were less accurate than the stuff in the kit. It was just incredible. And so a lot of stuff went in the trash, but it's an interesting kit. I'm sure Drew's built this thing, and it's got some little.
Do you know what, Chris? I've got one in the pile and have had since it was released, and I've yet to get round to building it. But it's one I keep meaning to, but it's just, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
Stashes be stashes.
A while ago, I'd put all the spaghetti in the wheel wells based on my references, and this week I put the spine on. I put the wings to attach the wings to the fuselage. Still got to get the intakes on there, but I couldn't do that until I painted them white, right? So I had to wait for that. But the one thing that was notable about that, there's a little insert. They give you a little spot on the spine for the fuel receptacle, either closed or open. And I put the closed one doesn't fit worth a darn. So in despair, when I found a video of this actual airplane I'm building on its final flight, which is what I'm modeling. And guess what? None of the 3 New Jersey Air National Guard F-106s had the door on the receptacle, so I could use the open receptacle and stick that in there, and it fits okay. So yeah. Pardon?
Bonus.
It's a little history is on my side in this one. So I'll close the bay and everything like that. And then when my airbrush, I finally got my airbrush remedy woes fixed. You know, an air compressor can fix a new air compressor can fix a lot of problems.
Funny that, isn't it?
Weird.
Yeah, after like 20 plus years, I think it was time.
Yeah. Chris has found a modeling secret there. Compressors, power airbrushes. There we go.
Yeah, blowing through the hose really hard is not very effective, but
yeah,
sure does the job. This is the special hobby Spitfire 21, and it's, as you can see, it's got its ocean gray on there, and it's getting its masking for the dark green, and painting is way more fun now than it was. It was getting to the point where the airbrush was just sort of splattering paint because it wasn't getting enough air. So now it's a totally different ballgame, and I can apply satisfying finishes the first time. So looking forward to finishing this guy up.
You can't be. I mean, I always maintain that whenever people talk about getting an airbrush and things like that, you know, I'm new to airbrushing. What do I get? I've maintained for nearly 30 years now. The first thing you need is a source of constant pressure, regular, non-pulsing air.
Yeah.
Once you've got that out of the way, The airbrush you're using is largely secondary because you can use any amount of techniques to get by with the most basic of airbrushes. It is the air source that is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Totally agreed. Well, I think I've had 4 of these lame Pache 1/5 horsepower things. They have no. It's just very bare bones, and it's louder. It's like driving a Panzer III through your workshop, and the new one is quieter and more effective and totally worth it. So I can't wait to drop the giant monstrosity of a air compressor I've been using into a receptacle in the backyard to go to the curb.
My first compressor was a Badger diaphragm one of those diaphragm compressors that used to dance across the workshop, and I'd be sat there airbrushing, and then suddenly I'm just like, oh, come back, as it's waddling across the floor. These days, I've had it 15 years now. My beautiful Sparmax compressor. Oh boy, that was the best thing I ever bought.
The first compressor I had was the Revell Profi when that was released in about 1990.
Yeah.
Oh, a glorious compressor that was.
I started off with one of the humble ones, which was basically the Badger that John refers to, rebadged.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have to sit with my foot on top of it.
Then your foot would get
for
hot.
The same reason, because you could feel the whole floor moving as it was working. It was.
I had a cheap Chinese one from eBay for about a year after the Profi died, and then I got an Iwata compressor.
Silent air.
Mine was the same as John's. I think I had the same. I had one of those little things that basically farted. That's the noise that it made. And I had one of those, and then I replaced it. It stopped working, and I replaced it with one that ED Models used to sell. And basically, it was a sort of, I guess it was like a fridge motor that they had.
Yeah.
And then they fitted an expansion tank onto that. It was like a Heath Robinson kind of affair. And then there was a moisture trap that was part of it. And you bought it from the model shop, from ED Models. And I used that for quite a long time. I used it. Actually, I think I used it pretty much for a lot of the early MIS stuff that I did as well. So this would be sort of early 90s, maybe 94, 95.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think that's basically that's pretty much what the Revell Profi was. It was a fridge compressor.
Yeah,
with but they had like a handle going around the outside, which is a tube, and that acted as the air chamber. It was about a 1 liter air chamber. What a glorious compressor!
This thing stopped working in quite spectacular fashion. Actually, while I was working, I was working upstairs in the house I shared with my first wife, and it was sort of rumbling around on the floor, as you can imagine, like that sort of sound. And I noticed I could hear this hissing kind of sound, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So I put my head down towards where the compressor was, and I noticed that there was a very small hairline crack in the pressure regulator of the moisture trap, in the pressure cup. And I put my thumb against it as it suddenly let go, and it blew this plexiglass pressure regulator downwards against the floor and across the floor of the bedroom that I was using as a workshop. I was actually, at this point, I think I might have been editing at this point. I'm not sure. The bang was that loud from this pressure pot going off that the next door neighbor came round to check I was okay. It was like so explosive, and it blew. My ears were just ringing for days as a result of this, because of the sort of decompression of this thing. But looking back on it now, because my head was so close to it, I think I was wearing glasses at the time, but not safety glasses. I think I was really lucky, because all I could find was bits of essentially 1/4 inch plexiglass parts from this thing that had disintegrated. After that, I got the idea from Fine Scale Modeler, and I bought a nitrogen cylinder with a pressure regulator on it, with an adapter. And for about 4 years of my time editing MIS before I moved back to Newport, before I got a compressor and moved back here, I was actually using compressed nitrogen as the power source. It was dry, it was perfectly even. It didn't create any kind of moisture. It didn't create any of those kind of things. It was really good. It was only the fact that I stopped using it because I couldn't really be bothered to go from here to the other side of Telford to have this, to keep having to do this and carrying this enormous nitrogen cylinder in the boot of my car, which probably wasn't very safe either. I ended up buying a compressor, and I had the first one I had after that was Iwata's compressor, the one with the regulator on it, the stop-start.
Yeah, that's what I've got. That's what I'm using now. Been using that for about 12, 13 years.
And then that gave up because I was using these things sometimes 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and that gave up. And then I replaced it with a Sparmax one that's got the stop-start switch that you mount on the desk. You just put the airbrush into the holder, and it turns it off. And I've been using that successfully for the last, I don't know how long, really, 7, 8, 9 years maybe. And it's really good. I think if I was to ever get another one, I'd replace it with one of those.
I'm looking at Brian Wilton there saying he's got a Bambi compressor, and a Bambi will be I keep looking at Bambi compressors and thinking, oh, they're nice.
Right, Spence, Dave Fleming, the pressing question is, but did you get the model finished?
I have absolutely no idea.
Right, okay, fair enough then. Brian Wilson says
Bambi compressors, they just look awesome.
Not one I've heard of. I've got a full-on Hyundai 40-litre tank thing sat under there now, with the shut off. Runs to full and then shuts off, and if I run it in the morning, it'll still be bleeding out at like 11 o'clock at night. So that's
really.
I got that. I found it on Amazon for like 200 quid, and it was like, bingo.
But the compressors became like televisions. They just became really cheap.
Yeah.
When we were back in 1985, 1990, when we were all getting into airbrushing, the compressor was a major investment.
Yeah.
My new compressor costs the same amount now than the one I bought when I first started when I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
So, those little chug-along Badger ones that we were talking about just now, I mean, they were 3 times the price of an airbrush at one point.
Yeah.
And now
when I bought mine in 1987, I think it cost me, goodness me, I think it was almost close to about 100 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then 100 quid in 1987 was a damn sight.
Well, that Rebel Profi I got in 1990 was 195 quid.
Yeah.
See, I got to be honest, I managed to blag one of them from Revel when I had Aircraft Modeler International and Military Vehicle Modeler International. And it lasted me forever. It only expired 5 years ago, literally, because the nice little, that little 1 litre capacity
the
tank
handle,
it corroded through by the mount for the relief, for the drain plug. So that's why
that's why I'm always mindful of my Sparmax here. Is when I drain it, I drain pure rusty water out of it, and it always makes me feel a little bit nervous. But
that's the way it is.
Hey ho, Mike, you've finished a model, haven't you?
Yeah, well, kinda.
Mike's finished a model that is very much to my liking.
Good job.
Yes. Now we're talking.
You've been building a dinosaur.
It's not a dinosaur. It's, or as Drew would put it, go on, Drew. Go on, say it. It's a Godzilla. Go on.
It's a Godzilla.
There you go.
It's a really angry monitor lizard.
It is. This
that
is
happens to destroy cities.
This is a Bandai kit, isn't it?
That is one of any possible number of iterations of Godzilla. Ergo, it is a Godzilla.
So in this case, this is it's a Bandai kit that you buy it. You can also build it as a skeleton or both.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm not going to do the skeleton inside and deal with any potential. And by the way, being Bandai, it's going to fit. I just didn't want to be dealing with all of that. So I threw this thing together in like one night.
Is it injection molded plastic?
It's
not
injection.
vinyl?
It's Bandai. I mean,
Yeah.
it is absolute. There isn't a bit of filler on this kit.
Mhm.
And well, no, I lie. There is a little bit. I had to use a little bit of the liquid putty up around the jaw and the top of his head or her head. And the whole point was that, boy, that's a terrible picture, isn't it?
Cool.
I wanted it to be coming out of the water, like that classic freaking Godzilla's showing up. But I couldn't find anything like tiny. I could have scratch built a bunch of tiny buildings and everything, but I really just wanted to have some fun with it. And I've never really used water other than a couple other times. And this was the AK Pacific Ocean water gel. It went on light blue and I was like, oh God, this is terrible. But I just wanted him to come out of the water. And the reason why he's glossy and kind of looks that way is I wanted him to look a little bit wet.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially on that, after I finished painting him and everything, I put, what's the lichen crap that I've got down there? The same company does realistic water and it's clear. And I just took a dropper
Is it
with
Woodland
it
Scenic?
all over the model and let it just dry overnight.
Yeah, it looks really realistic as well. I like that effect.
Yeah.
Woodland Scenic.
Probably water all over it.
And then like the beach where his foot is, where it's kind of sunk in, because I think, his weight, he's not just going to stand on a beach and make a tiny human footprint like we would.
Mm-hmm.
So I sunk his foot in, and then I put a bunch of that realistic water around his foot, kind of draining back into the water, just to give it that it's wet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his eyeball, I was talking to Jonathan about it. I'm like, these eyes are literally the size of a pinhead.
They're
Mhm.
tiny.
And so all I did there was I painted some yellow, Tamiya yellow, and then a tiny drop of white. And then I added Tamiya clear yellow over it. And I was like, oh, and then I put Tamiya smoke kind of around it. I'm like, that doesn't look half bad.
That works. It works
So-
because I sent you that screen grab from the
And I
2014
use that as a
film.
reference.
Yeah.
I actually use that picture as a reference.
Yeah.
I have no idea of the scale. It's about 6.5, 7 inches tall.
I'd say
Just a
probably
lot of
about
fun.
I
one.
keep looking
one
at that
feet-
photo and wondering why there's a rope going from the tail to the fin on the back, and then realizing it's the edge of the glass.
Yeah.
The plexiglass.
Yeah. And honestly, the one thing I would change about this whole thing, I would have not carried the beach sand down underneath the water because I had no idea how the water was going to dry. So there's a stripe at the very bottom of tan where the beach sand is, and I wouldn't have painted around in front of him black. I would have just left it more beachy look, but lesson learned. End of the day, just a ton of fun, literally. Not really something I would do normally. And now, I've got the F-15 that I'm starting to get back into my airplane groove. But yeah,
So
something
you've
fun.
Yeah, how
And
do you go F-15, Mike? We're
F-15
all having our F-15ing at some point, aren't we?
F-15 seem to be kind of popular of late, huh?
I will say, Mike, and there we go. Mike's got his F-15 there. I will
Classic
say,
owl.
Mike, you have top marks in not going down the road of painting Godzilla green, because he's not green. He's always been charcoal grey. He's been a dark grey. Yeah, so I don't know where this green thing comes from, but no, there we go. That's pretty much the accurate color there. Brilliant, absolutely beautiful. I'll have to get one of
All
those.
AK. I used AK real colors on him with about 14 different shades, and then the wash, the dry brush, rinse, repeat kind of thing. So
The AK
No, it was fun.
Gojira paint set.
yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah, it looks good.
But you got to do that, right? You have to do something that's completely just not your thing. And it's really kind of rejuvenated the model juices a little bit.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear.
You're waiting for Mr. Colour to do one of those little boxes of pots. Just
Kaiju colours.
Yeah.
Real
Gojira
realistic colours. Godzilla box set.
They'll do it. Somebody will do it. And somebody out there will go out and buy it.
And somebody out there will go, yeah, but it's not quite the right grey.
Yeah, that would be me. That will be me. I'll be running around Tokyo with an FS card, trying to
In amongst the debris.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yes. Right. Shall we dive on with the news, Chris? What does this do for your creative juices?
I love the scheme on this little sucker. This is this is the Grumman Goose.
Sword 72nd scale.
Yes, yes. Beautiful little airplane, and I love the invasion stripes on it, which is so like I want to be included too.
It's such a pretty little thing, though, isn't it?
It's really cool. This is a really great airplane, and Grumman made these fantastic flying boats that the middle of the 20th century, they really set the standard, and it's very exciting.
That's a really nice piece of box art as well. Look at the way the water's coming off of the hull and the undercarriage.
Yep.
Really nice.
Sword say about this a comprehensively modified kit with new moldings of details and transparent parts. The kit includes new masks, 4 markings, Royal Canadian Air Force, Japanese Maritime Self-Defense, United States Army Air Force, and Aeronaval. So I get the feeling
Goldwing in Fleet Air service, wasn't it?
it did.
It was the Goldwing, wasn't it?
Yep.
No, I think we did fly a couple of geese. I'm sure somebody in the comments will put me right if I'm wrong. I can see that being part of your future, Chris.
Yeah, I've always I really do like the placement of the national city and the fuselage up on the nose. Certain airplanes, twin engine airplanes, had that, and it does look really kind of cool. And the invasion stripes. I mean, come on, that's just.
I love the fact that the fuselage invasion stripes have got that black edge.
Yeah. Well, they had some time to paint them on there apparently, but very very neat airplane, and it's great to see Sword revisiting this. I think I've got the original issue of this kit. It's okay, but a little bit of extra DLC would make it all the better.
Well, we are going to stick with Navy planes, he said, desperately trying to bring up the next news item. We're going to stick with Navy planes because we have This is tries to find script. It's Fly and 72nd scale, and they're doing a whole family of F7F Tiger Cats. We have featured it on the show before.
So has anybody seen one of these yet? Because apparently it's
No.
been released.
I've not seen one. I built mine earlier this year from the monogram kit specifically because Fly didn't really hit its target dates. So
best one's coming up in a moment, though. Not that one. I do quite like that one, but oh,
hey, wait a minute. That's the one I built. I don't think I ever spotted out with a MiG-15, but
well, thank you very much, Chris.
Yeah, that's the exact airplane actually. So
you finished yours, we get a nice shiny new kit every time.
Thank you for your service, Chris.
Go build a Porsche 962.
Yeah, I can see that being part of Drew's future somehow.
That's such a beautiful aeroplane.
It is, isn't it? Even though that's the kind of like that's the one with all the kind of like the ugly kind of like bumps and warts on it. You think that's slightly more kind of aerodynamically pure. But
That's the
I just love that. It's purposeful, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like the fact that neither the pilot or the guy in the back, I don't know if he's a radar guy or whatever, I'm assuming he is, neither one of them have the heads turned towards the MiG that's actually shooting.
Right. Well,
It's
You
not
know.
like-
That's just Mike's useless box art critique.
I really wouldn't fancy trying to land one of them on a carrier, though. Not with that nose. I think the view.
It never really operated from carrier anyway, did it?
No,
That's
they were-
true, yeah.
I think by the time the 3Ns came around, they had disabused themselves of the idea of using these on carriers regularly and had handed them all off to the Marine Corps. They did. There were 2 deployments with Tiger Cats on a carrier to the Mediterranean, but that was it. They kind of, I think a lot of air bosses didn't like the idea of these big airplanes going down on the deck, which is kind of hilarious, seeing as though within like 10 years they had A3s. But
Wow.
you know,
E2s.
Well, A2s as well.
Stoofs, yeah.
So I got a question, and this is just Tiger Cat ignorance. Did the wings fold?
Yes.
I sure did.
Yeah, outboard of those leading edge intakes, Mike.
Yeah,
It's
that's
immediately
where I
outboard
was
of that.
kind of concerned. Like, it can't be where those are. So
Yeah, no, it's immediately outboard of those intakes at the
Gotcha.
wing fold. on the
Appreciate
Tiger Cat. So, oh, what a great aeroplane!
Yep. Well,
very-
it's just
very cool.
a shame. The AMT kit promised much, didn't it, Drew? But it kind of fell apart with the nose.
Yeah, it definitely overpromised and underdelivered.
Mm.
And they completely balked the 3N, didn't they?
That's what I'm-
but
yeah.
hey, at least you got tires that were real rubber that stuck to the plastic.
perennial AMT problem for the last God knows
Mhm.
how many years. Yeah.
Stuck to the
Yeah.
plastic, stuck to the display case, stuck everywhere, and then eventually just disintegrated. So, yeah, but no, I think that's again. I don't think it's too much of a prediction, Drew, to say that will be featuring in your future at some stage.
Well,
won't it?
I'll be keeping an eye out at the Nationals for one, and I'll probably grab one at the Nationals. Hopefully the 3N, and we'll take it from there. And but it's finding room, isn't it? It's finding time.
It's finding time because you, me, Spence, and indeed Ian, we are full steam ahead building models for Telford, aren't we?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Not yet, we're not.
Yeah.
Well, get a wiggle on, chum.
Well, Spence will have his masterpiece done in 72 hours, so
Yeah.
start to finish.
I'm hoping to at least open the box tomorrow and then spend a couple of days on it this week and then hopefully get back to it middle of next week.
What was that?
How long does that leave me?
Can
Not
you
long.
tell us what you're working on?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be working on the ICM Marauder, the 48 scale one.
That's
So
a
the
3-month
cen-
project for me.
that's the centerpiece of my display for the hobby company is the Marauder, which I haven't yet started. So I'm unlikely to get much done in the next week because
We've packed more stuff into shorter time periods.
Yeah,
we have. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just sort of thinking about it. It may well be one of those models that I really only focus on the outside and don't really concentrate too much on the inside, other than basic layers of color and that kind of thing. So, and I think I bought for it. I think I've got masks for it. I think I've got some Edward parts for it as well, which will help make it a bit more interesting. But it isn't going to be one of those sort of balls out kind of, projects with everything in, and also just to make my life even more complicated than it probably needs to be, I've also decided that I want to do it in metal rather than doing it in olive drab and neutral grey. So because I want to see whether or not, I don't know if you remember, it's, I build quite a lot of stuff and people
I remember the monogram one.
forget my nonsense, I also want to paint it and do a metal finish and then rivet the whole thing after all the paintwork's done, which is what I did on a P40 a while back, and I've also done it on something else. And I can't.
Lightning, haven't you? Did you do it on a P38 as well?
Did I do it on the Lightning?
Yeah, I think it's to me a P38.
Yeah, I might have done it on the Lightning.
Yeah.
I've certainly done it a few times. So I quite fancy the idea of doing something like that, just to put an additional layer of pressure on myself.
I would say, Spence, that the only problem with that is because it's a display model for the hobby company. People, if they see the model,
it's not a display model for the hobby company. It's my model.
Okay, that's
it's
fine.
Not going to the hobby company. It's my model.
That's
so
fine.
It's going to be a feature build that I'm using for Brett that's going on display. So I'm not like you lot. I'm not hamstrung by all of these. You have to do all of this. I can do what I like. I can do what I like. So,
At least until we stomp on your fingers, anyway.
You've got to stick to the
You've got to stick to the game plan.
I don't have to do anything.
Or at least keep quiet about where we didn't stick to the game plan.
I love the fact that
there we go.
The fact that the worldwide phenomenon of it doesn't even have to be a national; it could be a local or a regional contest or show or whatever. The amount of put off time until it's pressure time to get models done is universally worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. We've all done it. We've all been there, and I built a Tamiya Spitfire Mark 1 in 5 days.
That was hilarious, wasn't it? Because you just finished that. You were here. You just finished the
Sheridan.
Yeah, and then
I just finished building the Sheridan for the Nationals, and then Andy got in touch and said, "Can you build a Spitfire for next week?" It's like, if you get it in the post to me tonight, Andy. And it turned up. I think it turned up on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
To go up the following Friday, so it was the funniest thing is I built that as quickly as I possibly could, and it was okay. It was a nice model. Then about a year later, I decided to build a Tamiya Spitfire Mark 1 for me. Just I masked and sprayed all the markings on that one and all that kind of stuff, and it took me 5 days.
Chris, I know can attest to this. We've all known people that have gone to the IPMS USA Nationals who finish models in their hotel rooms.
Oh yeah,
the night before.
Yeah,
like they're bringing airbrushes and compressors. You walk in and go, "Hey guys, let's. Why don't we go down to the bar? Oh God, it smells like paint in here. I guess you're not going." And it's amazing how kind of the whole impetus of having to get it done actually makes you get it done. Whereas if you have, I've got a month.
I find that if I'm unpressured when it comes to building models, I don't build models very well. Unless I'm under pressure, and unless I force pressure onto myself, I react much better to it. If I've got a deadline and I hit a deadline, I'm a far better model maker. I procrastinate like you wouldn't believe when it comes to building models if I don't have that deadline hovering over me. So with the show coming up with that, it'll run on rails for me because I'll know exactly. I've already got everything planned in my head anyway, and I won't really deviate from that. I know how I'm going to do the interior. I know I'm going to assemble it. I know how I'm going to do the finisher. All of those kind of things. But I find that without that pressure, I'm not very good.
It's like you have to put the horse blinders on.
Yeah,
and just look at the bench.
Yeah,
I think this is a human thing, right? So when I worked in a newspaper, it was the same thing. It's like the day was basically really loud in the daytime in the newsroom, people talking, chit-chatting, whatever. And then as deadline approached, it got quieter and quieter and quieter as people actually buckled down and did what they needed to do.
I've done that. I've done that repeatedly when I've written articles for Spence. Yeah. And Spence said, I need, it's like Sunday evening, and Spence says, I need this by Tuesday. And I'm like, I better start writing it then. I spent 8 hours the next day God, I need to take up smoking. This is ridiculous.
I think I've just become so I've become so attuned to it now. I've done it for so long. I'm not sure I can work any other way. You know, if somebody sort of says to me, it's a bit. I had this conversation with someone the other day. It might have been. I can't think whether it was. I think it was Harris. Harris and I went. We met for coffee the other day up at Cosford. We went and had. We sort of sat and went to the museum and had a coffee and a sandwich or whatever. And I was talking to him about Christmas. At Christmas, I usually have 2 weeks, not off, but I have a 2-week break. And I always think to myself, I'm going to build something for myself, for me. And then I spend the first week of my 2 weeks trying to decide what I'm going to build. And then I spend the next couple of days thinking, how am I going to build this? And then I realize I'm going to football, so that takes another day out of the equation. And then before I know it, it's the weekend before I go back to work, and then I'm back into the deadlines, and those 2 weeks have gone. So last year I thought to myself, I'm not going to say I'm going to build a model over Christmas. I'm not going to put that in my head. I'm just going to sort of see where it went. So I played on the PlayStation for 2 weeks, went to football, went to the pub, watched films, and completely ignored anything to do with model making for 2 weeks and felt so much better about it. And I just thought, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. If I try and decide that I'm going to build something for myself, it never gets done, ever. It just doesn't. And I think that probably suggests that I no longer build models for a hobby.
No, you don't.
It's
You're
not.
you're a professional model maker.
It's not a factor in my life anymore. And if I
you're
wasn't
a professional model maker, it's as simple as that. And everything you do, whether you're building it for yourself, you know, the B26 is your model.
Yeah,
you've still got something in mind for it.
Yeah,
my last 2 models are sat over there at the side of the bench, just sitting there, gathering dust because I've got nothing to do with them. They're built and out the way. Yeah. I'm on with something else. You're not like that. You have to build it. You have to photograph it. You have to move on.
Although I have a degree of flexibility when it comes to building models, not necessarily for Marcus, because obviously he has quite specific needs. But when it comes to Brett, I can kind of pick and choose a little bit. But if everything that I build has to have some purpose in mind. It's either going to be in publication, it's either going to be for the magazines, it's either going to be for shows, it's either going to all of that kind of stuff. And it's sort of, I just wish I could switch that off a little bit and build a Godzilla. But I would look at that and think, I think that's really cool to be able to build something like that. But all the time I was building it, I'd be thinking, yeah, but I could be making something that I can use. You know.
Well, and Spence, I can appreciate that. Running the business that I do, finding the time for me where I could go, well, you know, I've got 7 printers in here. My time would probably be better off spent on them, working on learning more about designing parts. But I've had to discover that at some point, my business has taken over my hobby. I am now a professional company.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not, it's part of my income, my living, just like for you.
Yeah.
But I complained earlier this past week to you guys on our chat. I can't even get a freaking Godzilla done. A freaking Godzilla. It's like 45 parts. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And finally, having the chat with Drew about his trip and everything kind of put things into perspective for me, saying, you know what? You just got to sit down and do it. And
yeah, very much.
And taking the time away from your business and doing something for you, even if it's just relaxing and watching football and going to the pub.
Yeah.
That is a world of freedom that you don't get very often.
Dave Fleming makes a very good point here. He says most of us don't take the day job home. Hobbies are supposed to be a distraction and relaxation.
At least 2 people here aren't doing it for a hobby. You're not really, John.
No, I know I'm not. No, because I literally do the day job 7 feet in that direction, and then I go from there into here. And anyway, right. 3D printed warship models, and these are from SS Model, and they're doing HMS Ark Royal R09, R09 rather, in 1/350th, 1/700th, and 1/200th scales. And like I say, these are 3D printed, and they are available in waterline, and they do a full hull version. So these are obviously CAD renders. But yeah, this I think I'm just having a look to see what the prices were. I think they were somewhere £114.99, but it doesn't say what scale that is. I think that's the 1/700th scale one.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you can get much change from 300 quid for a 200 scale one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it does look a bit tasty, doesn't it? I know, like I say, I know these are CAD renders, but it's interesting how, again, 3D printing is making serious inroads into into this side of the hobby.
Well, it's just making serious inroads into every single side of the hobby. You just have to look at what Edward are doing now.
Yeah,
the hybrid stuff. That Avia S199 looks brilliant, and I can't wait to get my hands on one. But that's most of the detail work on that is 3D printed.
Yeah, I am curious as to what the parts breakdown will look like.
For that,
I'm going to guess in 350th scale, they're not printing it as one piece.
No, I'd be interested in seeing the support. Support strategy for it. Let's put it that way.
Especially the breakage in the mass and all that. I mean, Drew,
I'm getting a flight deck flat.
Yeah.
Are you?
No, trying to get it flat's the tricky bit.
Oh, just trying to get no warpage in something flat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, I mean. That's going to be a major undertaking.
Trying not to get print lines into something round.
Which is why I look at all these and think, looks great. I'll as with most resin things, I love it for detail, but I'm always a bit wary of it for full models.
Yeah.
Spence, you built that jet thing, didn't you? That jet bomber, that whatever it was, Armstrong Whitworth, whatever.
Yeah.
How was that as a cool model?
Yeah, it was nice. It was very simple, very basic. It was good, and it looked great when it was finished. It was the
Vickers something.
Wasn't it the thing that looks like an X1?
I built that. The Martin Baker. Was it?
That's
Martin?
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and I think those are really in terms of aircraft. I built those two. They're both from Aerocraft. Both from they were sent.
Oh, the Miles M52.
The M52.
No, I'm thinking of the big jet bomber he built.
And there was a jet bomber, which is the Type 75, I think it was, which was a design study around the same design period as the TSR2. It was a massive thing with two engines falling off the wings. It was very unusual looking design. Yeah, they're great. I mean, they fit together well. They look great when they're put together and everything. They're the only sort of aircraft that I've had any dealings with 3D printed. But I did build a 3D printed Centurion earlier on this year, which I had, which was sensational, really good. The only sort of thing where I was back in the day when I was editing MIS back in the 90s, I built hundreds, and I mean hundreds of resin kits. I was building them all the time. And you get to a point where with resin kits, you can modify them in certain ways. So if they're warped, you can warm them up and get them back into some kind of shape. Ian builds a lot of resin car kits. He's probably seen all of these. All of this
doozies.
I have found that that's not anywhere near as easy when you've got 3D printed parts, because the resin is much harder It's much
Yeah,
tougher.
yeah.
You
much
are
more
not going to
difficult.
warm up 3D printed resin and hope that it bends back.
No,
If
it's
it's
not.
worked, it's worked.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. But so
Hey, I want to warn everybody listening about the next 5 minutes or so, you'll probably hear a very loud noise here. There's 2 Mustangs that are going to fly over for the Fleet Week Air Show. So if you hear a loud engine noise, just imagine 2 P-51s. One
We've
with
got
PDA
3 of
stripes.
them now.
What?
We got 3 of them out here at Deer Valley now that are starting a new team.
There were
And
there were
it's 5
three,
miles from my house, and then they have a T-33 chase plane.
well, there were 3 of them. Yes, 3 of them on Thursday, and then for the Rare Show, apparently one of them went down. There's been 2 flying out for the last couple of days. So just so you know, the window's open. So
That might be my
Can't
Christmas my Christmas project.
ooh,
Oh, hang about. Let's give Drew. Let's give Drew
All
the.
that's just showing off.
Drew, I actually have some photos of a real one that I
Oh.
took at Davis Monthan Air Force Base back in its day. I will send them to you.
Excellent. No, I think that might be. I'm kind of thinking that I built the Cavalier one the other year, and I'm thinking the Piper Enforcer might be my my Christmas project because it's in European one, and everything looks better in European one, doesn't it?
Everything
You know
does.
what? I can remember there was an aviation magazine that was it was like a parts work thing that was released around about 1980, and it had an article in there about the P-51. And I always remember, and it said in there, and as an aircraft, it's still under development. And I remember thinking, good Lord, you know, this is 1980 and the P-51 is still being developed. And there we go, a P-51 or a relative air
And
off
it's Hellbird, so it's just
Yep.
beautiful.
with
Yeah.
Lovis markings.
Yeah.
I think Piper had somehow acquired some major P-51 parts.
They bought Cavalier.
Yeah,
They acquired Cavalier
Okay, so that makes sense then.
because that was at one point a Cavalier concept, if I remember correctly. Probably because I think the one at Davis Monthan is the aircraft, isn't it?
It is the
That-
aircraft.
It'll be that aircraft.
It is literally that one right there.
yeah, because they only built one of this
Full production.
the A48 Enforcer, the 1981 sort of 83 model.
Yep.
The previous one was a 1971-72 model in sort of Southeast Asia camouflage. And before that, it was the Cavalier Mustang with the Dart engine.
Yeah. What was the magazine that was in the early days of Sam? There was a modeling magazine. It came on quite glossy paper, and it was always black and white. And there was a guy always used building, and guy converted it with the balsa plug type for the engine and all that stuff.
Oh,
Using-
that guy lived in Utah, if I'm not
Well,
mistaken.
no, it was a British magazine. It was a 72nd scale kit. He used an Airfix Mustang and a Dart engine off of, I think, one of the Airfix airliner kits.
That wasn't Plastic Kit Constructor magazine, wasn't
No,
it?
it wasn't.
Ron
No,
Fur.
no.
Are we? Chris is pointing. We must be ready. There they go.
We got
There
it
you
in the Rumble.
there you go. Sound effects for your Mustang discussions.
But it was
Wrong engine, though, Chris.
called. Anyway, but there was a guy did it in that. When Spencer talks about trying to make the Windjet from the Windjet, whatever it was from the Provost kit last
Yeah.
week, that was my first conversion attempt, and it was basically ended up as a mushy pile of molten plastic again.
Aircraft Model World?
Might have been it.
That
Yeah,
might have been it, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've still got
It
some
was
copies,
not
got some copies of that around here somewhere.
Sam.
I think there was a guy in the IPMS Journal way back when. It might have even been IPMS Quarterly before the Journal was a thing.
Yeah.
That did a 48 scale conversion to make the the Piper Enforcer out of a monogram kit. I want to say.
Yeah, that's
That's
about right.
fine.
But time wise,
First of all, you've got to convert the monogram kit to a P-51, haven't you? And
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Craig Sargent. Yeah, I'd rather have more bubble wrap than have it rattling around in the box, Craig, to be fair.
Yeah.
So,
Right, news. DBMK. They are apparently close to getting their 30-second scale de Havilland Hornet onto the market. Although I am aware that they're also close to getting their 30-second scale Hawker Sea Fury onto the market. And they've also announced this week that they are looking at doing a 30-second scale Seahawk. Note to trumpeter, that's what a Seahawk looks like.
Yeah, I think I take part of the blame for this, don't I?
Yeah.
You do. This is
I don't
entirely
think they
your...
intended to announce it at all, did they, Drew?
No, no.
Go on, tell the story, Drew.
Well, there's nothing to say really. I've seen it bandied about online, and I mentioned my reservations on my model page on Facebook. And one of the DBMK guys got in touch with me to ask where I'd seen it, and I pointed him in the right direction. And he came back and said, "Yeah, they weren't supposed to do that. I suppose I'll have to announce it now." So I wasn't the person who made it public in the first place, but I was the person who kind of extended the view of it, if you like.
You're an accessory.
So yeah, I was an accessory to the crime. So
Yeah.
Credit taker.
I thought my reservations were perfectly well founded, and at this point still do. But with apologies to the DBMK guys, I didn't mean for it to go that way. But hey ho.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we might get a I want to say Hawker Seahawk, but it's actually Armstrong Whitworth Seahawk, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Hawker design made by Armstrong Whitworth. So
Be lovely. Be lovely to have this to come out, wouldn't it, in 30-second scale? Because it's a large scale, but it's not necessarily a large aeroplane.
no, it's not. It's a tiny little aeroplane.
And especially if you fold the wings as well, as all naval aircraft should be built and modelled.
And I'm sure Spencer will agree with me that it's a prettier aircraft than the Hunter.
I think it is a prettier aircraft than the Hunter, but then I think the Hunter's almost mind-blowingly dull as a subject.
Thank you, Spencer. Thank you.
Oh, I'm with you there, Spence.
I don't really understand the the overwhelming love that British model makers have got for the Hunter. It sort of blows my mind a little bit because it's sort of nothing. It's
nice knowing
It's a lump.
It's kind of that. I had quite a row with somebody who just thought that I was being sacrilegious, and you know how people can get when it comes to loyalty to their own country's things. When I suggested that the F-86 Sabre was leagues better looking than the Hunter, and they were like, "Are you insane?"
I wouldn't say leagues, but I definitely think the Sabre is a prettier aeroplane.
Oh, it's much.
Until
you start getting into
the same conversation.
Say that again.
Did you diss the TSR2 in the same conversation?
No, that's my job.
TSR2 is just
If you did both of those things in one conversation, you're lucky to have come out.
No, I'm the TSR2 argument starter with CF105 Arrow for an Encore.
Yes.
Right.
Just to annoy the Canadians.
Yeah, you're going to upset everybody. Don't accept the Canadians because there's a bit out there.
Is there an Australian aborted aircraft we could throw in here to make sure much more of the Commonwealth?
I suppose
Everybody in the Commonwealth gets pissed off.
isn't there?
TSR2 is quite rightly a footnote in aviation history where it belongs. I think. I mean, it was an aircraft that couldn't have been developed. It was an idea without a role, and there were better aircraft coming on stream within a few years of its cancellation, and I think they were absolutely right to get rid of it. It was what
are we talking about?
Going to be that. No,
TSR2.
TSR2 cancelling it was exactly the right thing to do.
Yeah, of
It
course
was
it
good
was.
for a minute.
I would argue that had the RAF taken delivery of their F-111s, they would have got a better aircraft than the TSR2.
Yeah,
A more versatile aircraft, certainly.
Now the Aussies are smart enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
and I think I think to go back to Ian's point, I don't think I brought the TSR2 up, but I think I may have suggested during a similar conversation that the Hurricane was a much better looking aircraft than the Spitfire.
Spencer, you and I are on the same page with everything right now.
And when it came to pretty aircraft from the Second World War, the P-51 was the best looking machine to fly. Period.
Yeah.
We see. I like
I'm
the
on the page with
P-51.
you.
I do like the.
I think the
P-51, but
F4U
it's
Corsair was the best looking aircraft of World War II.
So, I mean, it's right to be wrong, Mike. It is. It's okay. You can come on here, but the thing is, with any of these things, we all have aircraft that we love, and we all have machines that we love, and you know, I think the B-24 Liberator is a better looking machine than the B-17 Flying Fortress.
I agree.
You know, I think the Marauder is a better looking machine than the Mosquito. It's you have these kind of things, don't you? And but. Yeah, the Hunter leaves me. I've built loads of them. I wrote a book on it. I built a whole collection of Hunters, and yet it still leaves me completely cold.
They have one. They have a Hunter. It's a Swiss one at Pima, and it's in really good condition considering it sits at Pima. I almost walked right by it without taking a single photo. It looked pedestrian to me. I thought the Fallen Gnat was better looking.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, the Fallen Gnat is beautiful.
The Fallen Gnat's a cool look. It's just a cool little hot rod of an airplane.
Yeah,
the Hunter was like, eh. Now, a Canberra, on the other hand, throw me a Canberra in front of a Hunter, and that Canberra is going to be, to me, sexier, better looking than a Hunter all day, every day.
I know.
It's
right. News. Copper State models. I'm just.
We did that last time.
We did this
Did we
last
not do this last week?
No.
Yes, we did.
We
did.
Hang about, because we've now got.
Look at that freaking spotlight.
Sprue shot. We've got sprue shots or sprue renders.
Wow.
I've not built anything by Copper State models. I haven't
Steve Morris.
bought anything by theirs. This will be my first purchase because this just looks absolutely, I think the word we're looking for is gonzo. I just think it looks absolutely mad, Ted. I love it. I really, there's something about it. And
have you been taking your medication this week?
I have been taking my medication this week. I have to. I really don't want another holiday at Southmead. Let's put it that way. That's one for Drew. But yeah, this looks absolutely brilliant. And that's the clear part, or the clear. Sorry, the clear part.
That looks like a bizarre logo.
So the best part about this whole kit is the Arizona shape and the Arizona flag. I said it.
Pretty much.
There you go.
Yeah.
I said it.
That's the most
Even
attractive
though they're
part.
now made in Europe somewhere, I believe.
All it
They are
needs is
now. But
all it
the
needs is-
original owner, I don't think he owns it anymore, was a guy from here in Phoenix. Copper State, we are the Copper State.
Yeah.
For just, dumb, worthless education for anybody.
It does look neat and tidy, doesn't it? From the and quite.
I think it'll be a really nice little project.
I bet it goes together easy.
Yeah. And Harris has got he's got a couple of the biplanes that they've made, and they're, as a package, they're really sensational. They've got, the instructions are very similar to Wingnut Wings instructions. They've got that kind of the kind of coloured instructions are really detailed and all that sort of stuff. I just can't get past the fact that it's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen.
I can't get over that. I can't get over the single headlight. It's like it's a Cyclops, isn't it? It's just
It literally looks like something a kid put together for a Pinewood Derby race.
It looks like a four-wheeled anglerfish. It is the most...
You almost expect Dastardly and Muttley to be standing in the top of the turret, don't you?
Yeah.
It looks like Ray Harryhausen designed an armored car. I just think it looks something about, yeah, it does. Those wheels do not look functional. I like the fact that there's all the guns at the back.
The giant headlight is
The
just
giant headlight.
off.
Could you consider if you face both the machine guns forward and fire them at the same time, is it going to pop a wheelie?
Almost.
Actually,
certainly.
you'd have to face them backwards to pop a wheelie, right?
No, wheelies when the fronts come off the ground, mate.
Yeah.
I understand
Recoil.
that, but you need the
Recoil.
torque to the back.
I just
Come on,
wonder,
recoil.
Recoil. All right.
I wonder how slow this thing was as well. I mean, it looks preposterous from every possible.
I love the
You
fact that
decided it
you
was
didn't
based
say,
on
I
a
wonder
Renault.
how fast it went, Spence, but you said, I wonder how slow it was.
I do like the fact that they were kind enough to put a step below the door.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. I like this. I'm sure some apologists will be like, look at the early use of sloped armor. To
Look at
increase
the early use
It's
of
an
sloped armor.
F-117
Yeah.
with like gear wheels.
Yeah, really.
I'm particularly liking the fantastic shot trap underneath the just in front,
Yeah.
presumably where the engine is.
Yeah.
Just a single round just going inside there would cause carnage.
Had a really, really small radar cross section only 25 years.
Well,
only 25
well, the
years
front
before
of it
radar
did.
was invented.
The front had a really small radar cross section. It was the big round back end
Yeah.
that
Probably
kind of.
the-
Yeah,
it's
the
probably
battleship
more
gun
area
club
than
back
most
there.
of the F-117 fleet at the minute, but there you go.
Hark, what's that sound? That's the sound of Jonathan's dream to build this armored car now being ripped to shreds by you
No.
five.
Jonathan,
trust us,
I
we
will
all
tell
want
you
to see
this:
build it.
if
We
you
all
build
want to see you build
it,
it.
if you build it, we're still going to make fun of you, but at least you'll build it.
Yeah,
So-
no, I'm looking forward to it. Right, speed.
Right, just to
goodness
paraphrase
me.
Field of Dreams, if you build it, we will laugh. Anyway,
Yeah, quite rightly. The top speed, goodness me.
9
the-
miles an hour.
Close, 12 miles an hour.
oh,
Which, quite frankly, I can cycle on my bike faster than that. And Brian Wilton says, I'm with JM. Love it. Take my money. There we go. We are going to have the, how do you pronounce that?
the
Is it
entire
Gebrov?
production run of 2 sorted then, isn't it?
So Jonathan Mock and Brian can have a private group build.
Well, we can do. We can have a build off, actually. How would you pronounce that? Is that Gebrov or
There's got to
Gebrov?
be a silent M, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be Gebrov. Gebrov Renault armored car. I'm in. I can't wait. Hopefully, they might even have it at Telford. So,
Well, they usually have a stand, don't they?
yeah, winner, Christmas dinner. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
That better be free for you.
No, it won't be. I am more than happy to hand over my hard-earned to buy something like that. That will be my Christmas project.
Hey, by the way,
Go on.
that Harrier looks really small behind Spencer.
These Harriers are small. Those Harriers are far away.
It's only
Small,
that
far
big.
away.
I didn't know you did a 44 scale, 1/144 scale Harrier.
How good is your Irish accent? Close up, far away.
Far away.
Yeah.
That's actually only. I'm touching it now. That's how big it is.
Paul's talking about the armored car. Please cover it in mud, JM. Yeah, that's the
Like
plan.
the whole thing in mud.
I am actually going to chuck mud out of it.
Like it's submerged.
Yes, just go outside, fill a bucket up, and just pour it over the top of it.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely. Right, the next news item, and we are going to we're going to wrap this up very, very quickly here. Now, these are some reboxed AFV Club kits by a company called Ding Hao Hobby. So they've added new bits to these kits. So here we have the Churchill Mark IV. Sorry?
Wasn't that a Mustang?
Yes, it was James Howard's Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Hence the logo.
Yeah.
The sharp mouth to Dinghouse. Yeah.
Right. Churchill with carpet layer, with bobbins. They're also doing a Twabi Arc as well, which is a conversion article from the first model magazine I ever got, which was from Wokingham Town Hall in 1973. So that looks jolly interesting. That'll be a beautiful weathering canvas, wouldn't it?
I love the fact they named the tank Chelmsford. Clearly a boring vehicle.
Chelmsford 123. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Roy McGrath, Jimmy Mulville, the late Jimmy Mulville. Oh, that was so funny. It was Jeffrey Whitehead was in it, and he played a Roman senator, and he's talking about roads, and he goes, straight is great, curvy is pervy. And I just remember laughing like a drain at that. Anyway, is he what, sorry?
It's a long time ago, that.
It is 1990s, actually. Here we have Republic of Korea Type 84 light 64 rather light tank. Which
that's really interesting looking vehicle, isn't it? So that's a Walker Bulldog with a Hellcat turret.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
There's a suggestion these kits actually aren't new. They appeared in a conversation online, these images, and then further through the conversation, there's a suggestion these actually go back to about 2012, but no one in my actually knew about them. So they were being, the conversation was going around. Been trying to look to see if they're still available. Trying to find out, because I've got at least 2 people that want this thing.
I love that little Wiesel, little training Wiesel.
Well, the AFV Club Wiesel is an absolutely beautiful kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is just daft. But, you know.
I'd like to go shopping in one of those. That'd be cool. Go down to the supermarket in it.
You're never going to fight for a parking spot.
The thing is, mate, that'll fit into a standard car parking space, because the thing's only about 10 foot long. It's tiny. So,
it looks like a universal carrier and a Scorpion tank had a baby. But yeah, this looks fun. I mean, I think this is. I think, like I say, I think these are all ex-AFE club kits, or it's based on.
I love the air conditioning unit on the roof.
The AFE Club Wiesel is a lovely thing, and their Churchill was probably the benchmark for a long time. I think there's another couple come out since then, but if they are still available, they are quite cool little things. The bridge layer in itself is quite an important vehicle that nobody's really done as a kit before or since.
Oh, is that an aircon unit? I thought it was a record deck or something.
Well,
So
that's part-time DJ.
Yeah,
that's his turntable.
That's great.
And we've got another one coming from Ding Hao, which I love this. It's an L45000S truck with EMC mines and a figure. Oh my goodness me! I want.
I'm immediately thinking of a Hot Fuzz diorama.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. But
I think that's really built into it.
I just think this looks absolutely top dollar, and
bussing. I think it was. I think what the make of the truck was. Was it a bussing or something like that? Because Rebel did 24 scale, didn't they?
Yes, I think they did. But no, this. I'm sold. I'll get rid of some models to get one of them. I want. So there we go. Gents, we are coming up. We have managed to do an hour and 20 minutes tonight, which is always what happens when we. But we can go on a bit longer if you want. So it's entirely up to you. What would you like to do?
I'm in.
I mean, I'm good.
Considering I wasn't intending to come on, I'm quite happy.
Right. Well, go on. Talk about something then. Go on.
No, you're the one who's keeping us here. So you need to.
So what do we got going on?
Yeah.
Well, I
What
can
have you
do.
been working on, Jonathan?
Well, all right, Ian's got me out of trouble there. Go on, Ian. It's all yours. It's all yours. Solo layout. Go on.
So it came yesterday.
Yeah.
Talking about as we were earlier, about models for Telford, I was feeling all smug because I'd done the Stratos and I'd done the Bugatti, and they were both boxed up and in their transport boxes with proper instructions on how to get them out of the boxes and all that stuff written. And
Thanks
then I got a
to
message.
Drew.
Say again, sorry.
Thanks to Drew.
Yeah, thanks to Drew's assistance. And then I got a message from Andy that went, all right, yeah, well, the Fulvia will be with you tomorrow. Pardon? And it arrived duly the next day. At first, I have to say, I was a little bit on examination, a little bit. As I'm working on it, it's growing on me, definitely. It's
That sounds like a typical Italeri experience these days.
well, yeah, I mean, this is a brand new tooling. We know that.
Yep.
I must admit, I opened the box and my first reaction was to ring my friend up and say, "You sure Eschi didn't do one of these?" It has some very Eschi traits, like enormous ejector pin marks, and you've got the pictures. I think somewhere there's some huge gate protector gates on the back, attachments on the back of that, but they come off quite nicely. But some of it, let me show you. He said, "What did I do with the box of bits?" It's here, going right.
Ian, is it possible that Eschi had it, but they never released it?
No. I have had conversations with some people in Italy, and
Gotcha.
like, "No, you're an idiot. Don't even think
You would
about
know.
it." Yeah, there you go. That front panel fit to this is lovely.
That's
So that
nice.
was pretty precise.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
like it.
so that's really quite nice. The reason it's not attached is there were some holes to drill from the back, and I was still kind of working out some bits and pieces around that. So I've done that now. So there are a few interesting mold lines. There's an absolute doozy. So there's a sculpted edge. See where this trim comes round, and it recesses inside it. So it's quite a sculpted shape. The mold line runs around the edge of it, up the A pillar beautifully. In fact, hang on. You might get a better view of it. Up the A pillar, you can and along the roof edge, look, there it is, look. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then down there, just for good fun, and then the notch is there, and then
So
goes
on
out
that
the back,
chine
and then
again.
it runs away at the top. So there's an hour, I kid you not, in here, and I've still not got the A pillar right. I've got this bit level. So there was an hour to get to that. Then I'm looking at it and I kept thinking there's something not quite right. So I blasted a bit of Mr. Surfacer on and realized that all of these verticals and all the way around here and the arches are covered in very fine.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
See it?
Yeah.
Now, okay, this is a new tool. New tool, Lancia Fulvia. I'm not going to get one from Tamiya. Okay, but we'll come back to think. This is 50 quid. Right? Yeah, really? Okay. And it's a 2025 tooling. We've moved on a little bit. We come back to the conversations we had about the Stratos when I was building that. Hello, Drew.
Right.
Is it justifiable in this age to have those problems with a brand new tooling that's from a mainstream manufacturer?
I think
Now,
the thing is
if I
because
was
we've got
looking
other
at that-
manufacturers now that are doing this stuff for the same price so much better.
Yeah, if that had been that Copper State kit and there'd have been bits of flash on it like that, I probably wouldn't have gone and been surprised and been unduly upset, because that's that market.
But then against that, Ian, is the fact that we're looking at that Copper State kit and it hasn't got that.
No, well, those were renders, weren't they, of the sprues? So until we actually see it in the plastic, we don't know. But my gut feeling is that because it's kind of limited runny, I'd expect some bits of that.
All right, I'll chime
45,
in.
50 quid, new tooling, promoted as kind of state of the art. That ain't the state of the art.
The problem that I think that Italeri has always had is their molding. And maybe it's an upper echelon of the company that says it's good enough. It's just good enough. Let's get it out.
I'm not sure that's entirely fair, actually, Mike, because it almost feels with Italeri. I mean, back in the day, they were kind of state of the art. Between the sort of 70s, early 80s, or whatever, they were creating brilliant stuff.
For a minute.
But then they started to produce truck kits, and all of their truck kits were really well molded. They were well detailed. They were accurate. They went together well. And
my dad had 400 of them.
You know, I mean, it almost seems like they've got like there's like levels, you know, that certain kind of things they can, and this is why it you know, seeing Ian saying that the parts fit together well and all of that kind of stuff. You know, I would think to myself, well, Italeri can do it with trucks. Why can't they do it with cars? You know, they should be able to do it with those kind of things.
But the counter to the argument is the Bugatti. So the Bugatti is 5, maybe 10 years old now. I built that Bugatti very quickly from a point of view of there was a minimal amount of parts prep. I painted it, assembled it, and built, and it was done. There was none of that, which is what I got with the Stratos. Now, both the Stratos and this Fulvia are brand new tooling for this year. The Bugatti's older.
Could it be a new engineering team?
So I don't know whether they've got budgetary constraints, if they're working with a new tooling source or whatever, but they've regressed.
As a machinist by trade, I would suggest it is down to the quality of the machining that's being done.
Yep.
Yeah.
The money.
I would want to see the drawings that have been used to cut those tools to see what the tolerancing is on them, because they're not doing anything. They are not doing fundamentally. They're doing nothing that Tamiya isn't doing.
No,
I just think that Tamiya are doing it to much higher tolerances on probably much better machinery, and that is the long and the short of it. Is that the better your machinery, the tighter you can tolerance stuff, the better it's going to fit.
That's kind of the point I was trying to
got
make.
it down to a fine art where they can get ultra fine tolerances, but they're still tolerances that are going to work with each other. They're not tolerances that are going to be so out or so tight that they interfere with each other. And all they've done is they've reduced that tolerance down to the point where it all plays with each other really nicely, but are really finely toleranced.
I mean, you think some of the Chinese guys...
It's not the design as such, although there might be some poor design choices that I think have been made as a modeler. But the actual design is down to tolerancing and the machining.
Yeah.
And that said, the shape is also really good, though, right?
Yeah, the shape. Yeah. I mean, the intent of it, coming back to what I'll show you this. I mean, this back piece, let me just show you this. So this... I get never my angles right. That, oh dear, that rear insert. Look at that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You know, that's absolutely, because the best bit about it, of course, that's a chrome edge to that. So you're painting this, you're adding this in, right? That piece from that point to that point on the finished car, that's black. This is red.
Got it.
So that's really, you can, but the thing is, you can't put the chassis into this
with that on,
both front and rear already attached. So by engineering that, so well to fit, they've got you around that issue. So that, I mean, that shell in itself, the shape and everything, like we say, the design, as Drew's point, is really good. It does come down to production quality. To the quality that, see, I think it's budgetary, but in the same time there are some other oddballs. So if you can just about see, there's like a rectangular set of lines. Oh, it's not showing up there. There, look, see those marks? Right. So on the instruction sheet, there is a vague thing that says, nearly threw some bits on the floor, then that wasn't clever, pointing at that area, and it says just here, it's obviously back to front on my camera, it says clean, see, clean, and there's that shape.
So is that a gas door that they suggest that you just put in?
I think the thing is, you get the rally car doesn't have the fuel filler cap.
Right.
Once you've got past that point in the instructions, it's not in any of the drawings. Okay, it's just not there. Here and here on the finished model drawing, it's just not there. So the suggestion is it doesn't have it. So why is it on the decal instructions?
Well, that was somebody that didn't pay attention.
Yeah, and
That's decal artist for you.
but that's very much. I mean, that sums up some of the modern Italeri. In fact, some of Italeri experiences for my entire career of building Italeri kits. You know, but I'm not disappointed in having a Fulvia. Let's just say that, because it's a very historically significant car. It's a pretty car. There is clearly a road one coming because they've got a tooling block for the fuel door. So that will come with the fuel door. And there's little bits of gate in places that suggest that the replacement part is a road car part, you know, like the distributor and stuff like that. And then produced the model without the arches, because the arch extensions are a separate part. So there's obviously more versions of it coming than this one. Two things that bug me. There's a lovely little photo extra in it. It's nice. It's a single decal option. There's more than one you could have done in the box. Just putting a single decal option in it's a bit of a, you know, do you do that in your aircraft kits? Do you do that in your armor kits? I doubt it. But I mean, you don't even have to change the scheme. All you have to do is change the numbers and a few of the sponsor decals. You've got a Targa Floria car. And so, you know, I
really think with Italeri, it comes down to money.
It does. It all comes down
They've
to
just fallen behind the curve, haven't they? They're just fallen behind the curve.
I think at the end of the day, what you're looking at are the companies like Tamiya, Aoshima, and some of the other big ones. You would know more about Ian than me as a car guy. Italeri kind of just seems to be set in their ways.
Yeah.
And they're okay being middle of the road.
Yeah.
They know they can't compete with Tamiya. You know, Tamiya goes and gets licensing from all these companies to do these things. They don't do the Aston Martin anymore because Aston pulled the licensing, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Aston wanted an enormous amount of money for the renewal.
Right. Well, that's what I mean, though. It was a money grab. So Italeri, I think, to go with Drew's point as well, they're probably using older machines to press their parts. That they're not upgrading their equipment because they're not selling as much anymore.
No. I mean,
but that doesn't take away from them doing really cool stuff.
No, that's the thing. I can't argue with the intent. You know,
right?
The intent that we have a brand new 12 scale Stratos, a 24 scale Fulvia. We've got that Bugatti that it comes around in various forms and things like that. We can't. Yeah, hence Travis's comment. You know, they went all out with the 32nd scale Mackie. I know Drew's Spencer's definitely built one of them, haven't you?
That's a home
Boys,
builder.
can I just cut in? I've got to go. So, thanks very much for having me on.
Thank you for joining us.
But I need to shoot off. So I will see you later.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Spence. Say hi to Liz.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks for that, Spence. I'm just going to, while Spence is going, I'm just going to quickly shift to my workbench camera here. And this is what I is working on, getting this finished off at the moment.
That's cool looking.
Well, thank you. It needs a really good clean and wipe down before we even start thinking about putting a clear coat on top of it. And also a couple of bits of repair as well, but it's getting there. It's the thing is I'm fussing over things, and this will probably get shoved in a display case at the back of the stand, and it will be 15 feet away from anybody. So you know, I'm being a little bit overly precious, I think. What probably will be front and center will be the 72nd scale F-35C, which I am loving this version. I really, really am. Okay, it's a long old decaling job on this at the moment, and as is my wont, I am keeping the main markings till last, just to make sure I'm going through the process to make sure that I'm not going to put a marking on and it's going to affect something else. I am going to be doing the colourful one because I want it to pop out. I want it to stand out on the stand. But I've got to say, having always been fairly ambivalent about the F-35, I love the C variant, and I love the C variant because you can fold the wings on it and everything. So beautiful kit, absolutely stunning, really enjoying that. And it's made me a convert to the F-35, quite frankly.
I saw 2 C models up close and personal at Miramar, and it struck me as the absolute most cool version of the F-35. It's bigger, the gear is cool. I don't care about the folding wings. I like the pylons, all of that stuff. The Navy isn't using it for a stealth airplane unless they have to.
Right.
They're using it to do what the F-18 does.
Yeah, they're using the
Harrier
replacement. It's a Hornet replacement.
They're not going to sneak up on me with an aircraft carrier, so why go full stealth all the time?
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
No.
That said, the other cool thing at Miramar that I kind of wanted to bring up to you guys, and you know about it already, was 17 Squadron from the RAF had 2 B models at Miramar, and I got to chat with a bunch of the ground and air crew guys. Got a bunch of swag. Possibly the nicest F-35 people I've ever met. And I have Luke Air Force Base out here with all kinds of them. But the Brits were, well, they gave me a couple beers, which was nice.
With the cold.
Well, they were.
Yeah, that got you on side instantly.
And anything else,
There's no delay.
They were cold-ish. But no, they hooked me up with a bunch of. I got a couple T-shirts and some swag and some stickers and stuff. But I also learned just watching the Marine B model do its demo. Holy cow. That airplane is impressive. I don't care what anybody says. It may not be the prettiest thing you've ever looked at in the world, but watching this guy come in pretty fast, throw it out, and then sit. There wasn't a twitch in the airplane.
And that's the thing, is that when that aircraft, when the F-35 hovers, it's not like a Harrier where it's balancing on these. It is just dead still.
And it's loud.
Any movement of that aircraft is the pilot making an input.
Yeah.
Any single movement of an F-35 in the hover is done by the pilot. It's not like a Harrier where you're balancing on a pillar of thrust and you're constantly making corrections. It's just, it sits there. It's just absolutely dead stable.
And then watching him transition from the hover, throw that nose up. You see the motor come back. You see the door close at the top, and then he accelerates into the vertical like it's nothing. I was blown freaking away. I mean, I'm an Air Force guy. I love the A model because it's clean, it's fun, it's fast. But that thing, as a B model, is a monster of an airplane.
And finally, our last news item.
We have more.
We have one last news item, and it is this. Chris is laughing. He knows what it is. What we have here is a scale model of the Japanese Navy battleship, the Yamato. This has been created using sub-micron 3D printing technology. Can you guess what the scale is?
Well, that's a hair next to it.
It's 1 to 1 million something, isn't it? I've kind of seen this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Drew's right. This is 1/1,000,000th scale.
Yeah.
Right.
That took about 9 seconds to print.
Yeah, well, it's a 1/1,000,000th scale model of the Imperial Japanese Navy battleship Yamato, and it has been placed on exhibition at the Yamato Museum satellite in Kure, Japan. Yamato and sister ship Musashi were the largest battleships ever built, but the detailed model is 0.263 millimeters long and is too small to be seen with the naked eye. Museum visitors can view the tiny Yamato through a powerful magnifying lens.
Yes, but is there a photo etch sheet for it?
Right.
Wow,
I want sailors.
there we go. What a fabulous looking ship, though, wasn't it? Just absolutely stunning. I think that's the best looking battleship of the Second World War. But there we go. So anybody who complains, I'd love to build one, but I know where to put it.
I don't have the time to build it.
Yes.
I remember many years ago,
1/1,000,000th scale.
going to visit Dave Swindell, who is a correspondent on this group, and he had the Nishimo kit, which I think was 1/200th scale, and it came in a box big enough for you to sleep in it.
Yeah.
And it was it was always propped up in the corner of his living room in the box whenever I went round. I believe he still has it actually.
Right.
It's so funny
He'll tell us.
Gentlemen,
when you talk about these giant boxes of models. When I met Drew at Yeovilton at the show there in 14
2009.
Yeah,
2009,
my son was 4. He's 18. I bought the Doyusha 1/100th 747. And we put it in my friend Nigel Poole, well, Drew's friend too, Nigel's car. And I went, how the hell am I going to get this home? $300 later in shipping.
Right, chaps. Right,
And then I
chaps.
sold it.
I'm afraid.
Me too.
Any other
Oh,
business?
Yeah, I'm done.
Any other business?
No, I don't think so. Not from me. I can't discuss anything I'm building because I'm still under an embargo for Telford. So that's why I'm doing lots of inbox reviews on YouTube, because I can't actually do any videos of what I'm building because I'm still under this embargo.
Your decal sheet turned up, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Following on from something we did a couple of months ago, Drew, I'll show you this. You remember we both Drew and I invested in, where's it gone? In these.
Indeed.
Yeah, right. Okay. I found that when I tighten mine up, the collet rotates in the handle, makes it quite difficult to lock the bits in place. This has become part of my tool collection. I got this online, and it's made by one of the Japanese companies called Funtech.
Right.
So this is quite interesting, quite useful. That collet,
You're off screen, bud. There you go.
that collet is actually rubber.
Oh, cool.
So the collet's mounted firmly in the handle and it doesn't move in any way. So when you...
Sorry, Ian, what is that tool that we're looking at?
It's a handle, like a drill.
Right. I'm with you, yeah.
All them now.
Yeah, pin vise, yeah.
Pin vise, yeah. So the thing with this is, it gets to a point where, and the whole thing rotates as you're doing, as you're doing it up, look. See? So it won't, because this does up here. So I put a bit in it to do it up, and the whole thing just rotates and doesn't get any tighter. Whereas this one, because it's rubbery, a bit like that chicken. When you put it in and turn it, it doesn't rotate and it locks straight away.
I don't know if there's a problem with your, because mine's fine. Ian.
Yeah, it feels to me like I'm missing something like an O-ring or something inside
Yeah,
it.
possibly, because my one is.
But
Oh, there we go.
to be honest, whilst this is really, oh God, yeah.
Mine
Going,
one's absolutely.
yeah. I don't know. I'm wondering if I've lost, if there's an O-ring or something.
Yeah, it
missing.
might be worth having a look at.
Yeah, but
They are the best. They are the best chisels ever, though, aren't they?
yeah, the chisel. The chisels I'm using in preference to the. These are the ones that come with the Funtech thing, and that whilst they're very nice, the length of these is where it wins. That blade length is just perfect. Although do not stab yourself with them.
Try not to.
You will do yourself a mischief.
They are sharp. The one thing I do like about them is the little magnetic holder in the.
Yeah.
They don't go rattling around. And that's although they could do with putting the dimension, the size on the packaging. But that if that handle and it plus it's got a nice, oh God, I'm all over the place. A nice soft foamy type grip which makes it easier to hold onto. So
Ian, can you do us a favour and pop a link up on the
problem is I've
page?
lost the link from where I got it and I
Good
can't
Lord.
find it again. So I'm gonna have to
I've
spend some
designed, I've
time.
designed all this 3D printed stuff for mine now, so it's all like that. Look.
Oh, get you.
Oh, oh.
All magnets on the front.
Wow.
Well, you see, I've got the magnetic holder above my bench. You know, the knife holder.
Yeah.
For
You had me at the gold scissors.
Are they hairdressing scissors? Because they're often the best.
Cuticle ones.
Yeah. Although these Tamiya photo etch scissors, the little something one, they're the
They're
the boom.
beautiful. Yep.
Along with and they're decal scissors.
Yeah,
These
that's what I'm using at the moment.
There.
Yeah, they're fabulous.
They
Yep.
are. But then again, anything that says Tamiya tools, and it might a lot of people go, oh, but it's not there. They don't make them themselves. They're there, but they find the good stuff. They
Yep.
really do genuinely find the good stuff. I mean,
Yep.
they're just wonderful.
They are.
Those are lovely.
Here's me just using a scalpel blade to cut my decals. Like,
Yeah, well, you see, you run the
like
risk
a
of tearing.
cretin.
Yeah.
See, like this is why you need an FDM printer, Mike.
Look at you, fancy pants.
With built-in magnets. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Of all different sizes, look.
But you know what's going to make me money? Not that.
No.
Well,
Well,
I mean, I've
chaps.
got to admit, those MadWorks chisel bits, are they not cheap? And if you can find them, I believe that I think I've found the MadWorks shop
one's
on
broke.
the AliExpress. But yeah, the MadWorks stuff's lovely, and Drew will back me up on that because it was his fault that I ended up spending a lot of money on their site beforehand. But that Funtech handle, I like the MadWorks one, but that's really just that moment better. The rubber collet head, just wonderful. It sounded like I forgot I had it.
I'm just having a look.
Drew has disappeared from the.
He's got his.
well,
Right.
I got that from a British trader at Telford maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was the first year after COVID.
Hmm.
So 2021, 22 show. And which I know there's one you two didn't come to, isn't it? So, yeah. But I bought it. And it wasn't cheap, but then, you know.
We've got a comedian with us tonight, promising young comic called Christopher Joseph Buchholz. He says, Craig Sargent, dad joke of the week. What's black, sticky, and hides in a fjord? Labria turpits. I don't get that. It's probably some cultural reference that I know what the Labria tar pits
It's probably
are.
some
Yeah.
cultural reference that we're entirely too British to understand.
Yeah, we're
There you
too
go.
British.
See?
Yeah, we're definitely too British.
you have to be California.
I got it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
well, I have to go hone my comedic skills. Obviously, I'm gonna have to depart with you.
It's about audience, Chris. It's about audience.
Yeah. on that note, a big thank you to Spence, the erstwhile Mr. Pollard. Big thank you to Ian, to Mike, to Chris, and to Drew. Be nice to have you all again here next week. That would be jolly good as we begin, Drew and Ian.
Don't know.
We're doing the car show next week.
And I couldn't join anyway because I will be drinking some beers and some margaritas on a beach in Mexico for the next weekend. So
We're
No
supposed to be doing
excuse.
cars next week, so
Okay. Well,
there's a
anyway.
poster and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're doing. Yes, we are. We. Do you know what? Thank you for reminding me, Ian. Because next
sent me the
Sunday,
poster.
I know. Next Sunday we will be doing the Sunday car service.
I kind of feel like we were just invited, uninvited.
Yeah,
You're invited, Mike, if you want to build a car.
Yeah,
I built a car.
he has built a car.
More, mate.
Yeah. No, I've been up since 5:30 this morning, so excuses.
Yeah.
Yep. So next Sunday will be the Sunday car service. Hopefully by then I am fully intending, Ian, to have this Ford Escort all wrapped up by then, because it's got to be, because
And the
I've got
Mini?
other projects to get on with.
Yeah.
Not needed for Telford, so I'm still
right.
painting on Telford builds at the moment. So we'll be back next Sunday with a car service. So big thank you to Spence, to Ian. Big sneeze coming up. Oh, excuse me.
Professional at the show, sir. Well done.
Get in the show. Big thanks to Spence, to Ian, to Mike, to Chris, and to Drew, and to you all for tuning in tonight.
That was fun.
We'll see you next week for the car service. Until then, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very, very soon. So bye for now.
Bye.